The United States is deporting Anmol Bishnoi to India, a wanted criminal who's been involved in notorious crimes across continents. The Lawrence Bishnoi gang, linked to the assassination of Sidhu Moosewala and Baba Siddique, and even the shooting at Salman Khan's residence, now faces its biggest setback. With ties to Khalistani networks, cross-border extortion, drugs and arms trafficking, this takedown of Anmol Bishnoi isn't just about one gangster. It signals a turning point for India's internal security. Hello and welcome to Unacademy. Now let's understand the significance of this development for India. This topic can help us understand the linkages between organized crime and terrorist organizations. It's a major topic under internal security in GS paper 3. But first, who is Anmol Bishnoi? Anmol Bishnoi, who has been deported by the US to India, is none other than the younger brother of Lawrence Bishnoi, one of the top criminal gangsters in the country. Anmol Bishnoi has been running the criminal network of Lawrence Bishnoi gang and running those operations in the North America region in Canada and United States over the last 2 to 3 years. Anmol Bishnoi is wanted for several high-profile cases in India, including the involvement of Anmol Bishnoi in the assassination of popular Punjabi singer Sidhu Moosewala. Since that allegation came up, Anmol Bishnoi fled the country on forged documents and entered the US illegally. India has been pressing for his extradition from more than 1 year, and now the US authorities had detained him on the charges of having falsified documents. So since then, India was pushing for his extradition, but now the US is deporting him back to India. So this is a big development, which could be an opportunity for India to crack down on the Lawrence Bishnoi gang. So before we continue the discussion further, I have a very important announcement. Unacademy will be conducting India's biggest scholarship test for IAS aspirants on 23rd November at 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. So it's a great opportunity for you to attempt a UPSC standard question paper and test your performance, compare your performance with other peers, and get an All India rank. And the best part, you stand a chance to win attractive rewards along with a scholarship for our IAS courses. So those interested, please click on the link provided in the description. Now coming to the discussion on the Bishnoi gang. In the image, you can see Lawrence Bishnoi, the elder brother, who is the head of this criminal cartel. Lawrence Bishnoi was just another regular student from the Fazilka district in Punjab that lies on the borders with Pakistan. His father was a retired police constable. But his entry into the criminal world started between the period 2010 to 2012, when he was studying at one of the universities in Punjab. And by the way, he has a graduate. He's a LLB degree holder. During his college years, he got very actively involved in college level politics and quickly turned towards violence with his close associate, Goldie Brar. And obviously, his brother, Anmol Bishnoi, followed his footsteps. In fact, during this period of 2010 to 2012, several charges were filed against Lawrence Bishnoi and Goldie Brar on the account of murder, assault, extortion, and eventually they graduated to smuggle drugs and arms and carry out targeted assassinations and killings. And as a result, this criminal network, which is rooted in Punjab, emerged as one of the biggest criminal cartels of the country. Today, the Bishnoi gang has more than 800 sharpshooters on its list in India across multiple states and even in multiple foreign countries from Canada to US to even Australia to United Arab Emirates. So Lawrence Bishnoi got arrested in 2014 by the Rajasthan police. Later, he was transferred. The custody was given to Delhi police. He spent a number of years in Tihar jail. And now he has been transferred to Sabarmati prison in Gujarat. So he has been in jail for more than a decade. But imagine, he's still been running this criminal network, which is a transnational criminal network today. Be it extortion, targeted killings, or drug and arms trafficking, and as well as involvement with terrorist entities that are essentially pro-Khalistani organizations. The Lawrence Bishnoi gang has done it all. So Anmol Bishnoi, his brother, he was essentially running the operations of the Bishnoi gang in India until the assassination of Sidhu Moosewala. And after that, he fled to the US. And with their associate Goldie Brar, they were running the criminal network in US and Canada on the instructions of Lawrence Bishnoi, who remains in Indian jail. So you can imagine the audacity, the scale of these operations. But the key point to understand here is the nexus that has developed between organized crime and terrorism. This is something which reminds me of the linkages between the Dawood Ibrahim cartel, the D gang, and the terror networks that are operating in the Afghanistan Pakistan region. The manner in which Dawood Ibrahim, Chota Shakil, even Chota Rajan, how they ruled the Bombay underworld, got involved in gold smuggling, extortion, issuing threats, carrying out targeted killings, and eventually venturing into drugs and arms trafficking. And how the D gang was given patronage by Pakistan's ISI to basically run the drug trafficking rings centered around Afghanistan, Pakistan, and how the same networks were used by Pakistan's ISI and the terror entities to smuggle arms and explosives and weapons to India to pull off one of the deadliest attacks, the 1993 Bombay blasts. In almost a similar fashion, with regard to how linkages developed between the Dawood Ibrahim cartel and Pakistan sponsored terror entities, almost in a similar fashion, these Punjabi criminal gangsters, led by Lawrence Bishnoi, Goldie Brar, then Arshdeep Dalla, and others, they have formed linkages with several Khalistani terror organizations that are functioning in Canada and United States. See, these linkages that exist between criminal networks and terror entities is what creates the unprecedented security challenge. Because criminal networks can easily mobilize funds, because drugs and arms trafficking is a massive opportunity for them to generate huge sums of money, which can be laundered to finance terrorist activities. Then the same channels and networks that they have built can be used for providing logistical support for terror activities as well. And that is where the link becomes extremely dangerous. So these Punjabi based criminal gangsters who are now largely sheltered in Canada, some are spread out even in West Asia, according to intelligence reports. Some are spread out in Africa, Southeast Asia, and even as far away as Australia as well. And most of these criminal gangsters of Punjabi origin involved in drug and arms smuggling have some sort of link with Khalistani entities as well. So there is an allegation that comes up that do they have any foreign state support? Because Canada has alleged that the Bishnoi gang appears to be a covert asset of India's intelligence agency. Recently, when Hardeep Singh Nijjar, a wanted Khalistani terrorist, was shot in Canada, Canada blamed this on India, alleging that it had intelligence to point towards government links with government agents from India. And the Canadian allegation is that India's RAW has probably relied on the Bishnoi gang network and the group of sharpshooters that they have to carry out the targeted killing in Canada. India firmly rejects these allegations. India has denied any such conspiracy theories. And India has even shown willingness to cooperate in the investigation if Canada is willing to deport or extradite the wanted criminals who are hiding in Canada. So, this is where things get very complex. Now, from an examination point of view, we don't have to get into the conspiracy theories. Whether the Bishnoi gang is an Indian asset or not, honestly, doesn't matter at this point, and nobody can answer that unless and until there is some clarity given by the government itself, which, of course, if at all such links exist, would never come because any such linkages would be classified. But again, as I said, this could just be a conspiracy theory being floated by Canada. As we have seen, the role that Khalistani movement plays in Canada's politics, how Canadian parties, especially that of Justin Trudeau, has been trying to appease the Sikh vote bank. And they have been catering to the pro Khalistani sentiments that might exist in some factions of the Sikh diaspora. So this brings back memories of how there were allegations in 90s and early 2000 that if ISI cultivated the Dawood Ibrahim cartel, there were allegations that India's RAW and IB had cultivated the Chota Rajan gang as a rival gang to pit each criminal network against the other and use their sharpshooters to carry out targeted killings and assassinations. But of course, these remain conspiracy theories. But what we need to learn here is that there is indeed that close linkage and connection between criminal networks, terrorist entities, and money laundering channels. And this is a very serious threat, not just for your economy, but for your national security as well. And any foreign support or even a safe haven that might exist could enable them to conduct these activities. It will embolden them because these Punjabi cartels and as well as the Khalistani outfits, be it Sikhs for Justice, led by Gurpantwan Singh Pannoon, or Khalistan Tiger Force, which has been operating freely in Canada, or the Babar Khalsa International, which has a transnational global presence, they have been getting some sort of covert support in a way, if not direct, at least indirect blessings from certain governments, certain intelligence agencies, including that of Canada. And that is where the problem lies for India. How some of the Western countries have tolerated these extremist outfits and criminal organizations without acting against them. And then they have the audacity to allege any Indian involvement in carrying out these targeted killings of Khalistani leaders who are wanted terrorists in the country. So, this is where the connection, the terror crime symbiosis, as you can call it, a mutually beneficial partnership that exists between them, becomes of great concern for India. So, there have been several violent incidents linked to the Bishnoi network and the Goldie Brar gang. By the way, today the Bishnoi and Goldie Brar gang, they have fallen apart because Lawrence Bishnoi, who is currently in Indian jail, feels that Goldie Brar, who was a long associate, he was not able to protect his brother, Anmol Bishnoi, when he was arrested in the US on the charges of falsified documents. So apparently, there has been a falling out between these two gangs as well. There are other similar gangs in Canada which operate in US, like the Arshdeep Dala gang. And as I said, they do have these linkages with the Khalistani networks. So be it the targeted killing of Sidhu Moosewala or the high profile killing of Baba Siddique, a very close associate of Bollywood actor Salman Khan, and the repeated targeting of Salman Khan himself by the Bishnoi gang is what attracts much attention to this group. Because the Bishnoi community to which these brothers belong to, they consider the black buck to be very sacred. And I'm sure all of you must be aware of the allegations of Salman Khan killing the black buck, which was established and proven in court as well, that leads the Bishnoi gang to place a gun aimed at Salman Khan. But experts look at this as purely an extortion tactic. Similarly, many well known high profile individuals, builders, Bollywood producers, actors, they have been receiving calls and intimidation tactics has been witnessed primarily to extract money from them. So, this is how these organizations have been running their organizations and the linkages they have with cross border networks. According to reports, these criminal gangsters have networks in Pakistan and in the Afghanistan belt. They are involved in several illicit activities that brings them in close contact with hostile intelligence agencies and terror groups. So this combination could create a deadly combo which could become very serious threat for India's internal and national security. So now India's response has been very clear. Indian agencies led by the National Investigation Agency and the intelligence agencies, IB and RAW, they have been looking to crack down on these organizations with the help of the state police. But we need global cooperation. Without the transnational support from American authorities, Canadian authorities, and in any other country that they are operating in, without that global support and cooperation, it would be difficult to dismantle the offshore networks of these criminal cartels. That is what India is pressing for. So India has even pressed UAPA charges against some of these wanted criminals because of their linkages with terrorist activities. The NIA has been cracking down on the local modules and networks present in the country, and the properties, the assets they have been able to amass, they have been attached to ongoing cases and they have been confiscated. So now we are looking for global cooperation, and the fact that US has at least agreed to deport him, please understand the difference. It's not an extradition. Extradition would mean it would be part of the mutual extradition treaty that would exist where wanted convicted criminals are extradited. So India did raise a extradition request because against Anmol Bishnoi we had a red corner notice issued through the Interpol, which means the countries have to cooperate and ensure in extraditing the individual. But in the US, he was arrested on the charges of falsified documents and uh, illegal entry into the US. So on those charges, he's being deported back to India. But either ways, once he lands in the country, he will be arrested by the NIA, and immediately there would be a further crackdown based on the interrogation of Anmol Bishnoi. So this should probably help stabilize the security situation in Punjab, cut down the criminal activities, and ensure that we unravel the larger web that connects these transnational criminal groups, and probably through this effort weaken the Khalistani movement, which is being revived by Pakistan's ISI. That is where the larger threat remains. Pakistan's intelligence agency has been actively working to try and revive the Khalistan movement. So, breaking the criminal networks will help India weaken the Khalistan movement as well. And that is where the significance of this development lies. So, on this note, I bring my discussion to an end. If you like the session, press the like button, share the video, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.